here? I don't know who that is.
That's one of those stations.
Can we just, I don't want to, all right. Yeah, he's, oh, wait a minute. Everybody ready?
Yeah, we're ready, man.
Are y'all ready? Okay. Well, good afternoon, and thank you for coming. A little earlier today, Governor Abbott made a statement and declaration on the state level, and what I'd like to do is go over exactly what he stated in his declaration, and then we'll have some comments from the city manager, from the county judge, State Representative Todd Hunter, and Dr. Dante, so that we can give you an up-to-date. Today was originally the scheduled date for the state of the city, and so this is pretty much the state of the city. And so not exactly what we intended for this date to be, but this is the state of the city. So we're going to need our citizens to help us implement this. They've been tremendous up to this point, and we'd just like to ask them to continue their efforts. There will be some time periods of discomfort, but it's going to be well worth the price when this thing passes, because it will pass, and we're going to come out stronger and better for it. But we need to support the governor, both at the county level and at the city level. The county judge and I both were born in Corpus Christi, so in Nueces County. So what happens here, really, it's important to both of us. This is our homes, and we're going to do everything we can to protect it and protect the citizens. So what I'd like to do, in case anyone missed it this morning or earlier this afternoon, the governor issued 4 orders, and I'd like to state those again so that we're very clear on that, so there's not any misunderstanding, because in situations like this, there's opportunity for a lot of misunderstanding, and we want to be very clear. 1, in accordance with the guidelines from the President, the CDC, every person in Texas shall avoid social gatherings of groups of more than 10 people. That's order number 1. Social gatherings of people of 10 people. Order number 2, people shall avoid eating and drinking at bars, restaurants, and food courts and visiting gyms or massage parlors, provided, however, that the use of drive-through, pickup, delivery options is allowed and highly encouraged throughout the limited duration of this executive order. So you can still get restaurants' food by taking it out, and I would encourage more than stronger than I can encourage is us to support our local restaurateurs. They've got people working for them that if they shut down, then it's going to have not just a health impact on our community, it's going to have an economic impact. And so we encourage you to take advantage. All of them have stepped up and are offering takeout, and I would encourage you to take advantage of that opportunity. But that's order number 2, that no eating within the restaurants, but that takeout orders are available. And in accordance, again, this is order number 3. People shall not visit nursing homes or retirement long-term care facilities unless to provide critical service. And And that will be a challenge for some because they've got loved ones and friends in those facilities that they'd like to go see. But the most compassionate thing you can do for those people is not go and expose them to further risk. And you can communicate with them possibly through a telephone or however they may have some set up in the facility itself, but express your love and compassion for them and not go in and expose them to some potential additional problems to add to what they're already experiencing. And then in accordance with the guidelines, schools shall temporarily close. And you'll have to listen to your different ISDs and the universities to get the times and dates on those, but schools will close. Now, there are some exemptions, and I think this is very important for people to listen to so that we don't have accusations of people violating the rules, because there are some exemptions, because life has got to go on. The executive order does not prohibit people from visiting a variety of places, including grocery stores. And it's not part of this order, but let me add a comment here. Please, 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 you do not have to go out and panic buy and clear the shelves every time you go in there for a package of napkins. We would ask you to be courteous of our fellow citizens, to give them opportunities to get in there and get what they need. You don't need to panic buy or hoard, and so just take advantage of the opportunity to go to the grocery store. They're doing the best they can to get the shelves restocked as quickly as possible. Gas stations, parks, and banks, so long as necessary and precautions are maintained to reduce the transmission of COVID-19. The executive order does not mandate sheltering in place. So please, when we ask you to stay home or the governor asks you to stay home, that doesn't mean you have to be a hermit for the next 2 weeks. You're free to get out and roam about the territory. But don't go roaming around just for the sake of roaming. If you don't have some business to go take care of or something, stay home and enjoy your family, do some work around the house or whatever. But this is not a mandatory shelter in place for the next 2 weeks. That needs to be clearly understood. All critical infrastructure, and Peter Zanoni will address this in a few moments on behalf of the city, and I'm sure the same on the behalf of the county, that all critical infrastructure will remain optional, domestic travel will remain unrestricted, and governmental entities and businesses will continue providing additional services. And that business is not limited to governmental functions. People in business in Corpus Christi and Nueces County, they've got payrolls to meet, they've got people to feed, they need to stay in business. And if you've got to conduct business with them, feel free to go take your business. Just be cautious of your surroundings. Don't get in groups bigger than 10 if possible. But they need to have your business. This is an economic challenge to us as well as a health challenge. For offices and workplaces that remain open, employees should practice good health and hygiene, and if feasible, work from home in order to achieve optimum isolation from the COVID-19. The more people reduce their public contact, the sooner COVID will be contained and the sooner will expire. And the expiration date on the order given by the governor, and I'm thinking this, to me, it is really an optimistic interpretation, but I've got a lot of faith. And it says this is done by virtue of the power and the authority vested in the Constitution and the laws of the state. Hereby order the following: a statewide effectiveness, 11:59 p.m. March the 20th. That's Friday. And 2020, and continue until 11:59 p.m. April the 3rd, 2020. That happens to be Good Friday. I can't think of a better time that being Good Friday and the next Sunday being Easter, that this whole episode could very well be over if we pay attention and follow the rules for the next 2 weeks. And that really, to me, would be a tremendous symbolic thing on Easter Sunday, that we're no longer under this threat. And so at this time, I'd like to call on Representative Todd Hunter to, one other thing, what we will be doing at the city is that, and I'm sure at the county the judge will address this also, but we will be adjusting the declarations that we have made previously. We will be adjusting them to reflect what the order from the governor is. And for people, let me explain to you that these are not just suggestions from the governor. There is a provision under the law that says a violation of this order is a violation of the emergency management plans of the city of Corpus Christi and Nueces County. A person who violates any provision of this order may be punishable by a fine of $500 per violation per day, and imprisonment up to 180 days per violation per separate day violation, or what's authorized by law. So these are not suggestions. And if there is flagrant violation and it is reported, the enforcement will be made, because we're trying to keep our citizens safe and healthy, and it's that important to us. So please take that to heart. At this time, I'd like to call up State Representative Todd Hunter, because this is a team effort. We've got the governor, we've got our state representative, we've got our county judge, we've got us. There's no I in team. And so Representative Hunter, if you'll make a few comments, and then following him, Peter will give you the city's position, and then the closing two comments by Judge Canales, because that includes the whole county, and also Dr. Dante, who's working with the City County Health Department, will get to the part about where we are and what's the current status of where we are. So, Representative Hunter.
Thank you, Mayor and County Judge. I want everybody to notice, just like Hurricane Harvey, you see joint cooperation between the city of Corpus Christi, Nueces County, and the state of Texas. The governor's order, as the mayor just read to you, let's make sure we're clear. Again, just like the mayor said, it starts tomorrow, Friday, right there, right before midnight, and then it goes to April 3rd, right before midnight. So you're talking 2 weeks. And it's my understanding from the state of Texas, this is following the CDC guidelines. So basically the state of Texas, our county, our city, and our state are working together to make sure the Center for Disease Control guidelines are followed. The other thing is, we're going to win. We're going to go through a speed bump, but we're going to win. I want to assure on behalf of the state, and I'm sure the county judge and the mayor agree with me, this is another hurricane we're going through. And we are experienced as a community. And so let's just work together, and we're going to get things done. For those that are viewing, and I'll be working constantly with the county judge and the mayor, if you need clarification on the state order, let us know. We are getting some questions right now on specific wording under the order. But if you have any questions, go to the guidelines that have been published by the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and they should answer most all the backup or clarification. But anything on the state order you need, please let me know. And I do want to thank, even though it's kind of an awkward situation, we are practicing social distancing. And we've learned a lot of new things. And so the positive I can say in South Texas and the coastal bend is we take it seriously. But you know what? We're going to win, we're going to be positive, and we're going to set the example for the rest of the state, nation, and world. Mayor, thank you for including me. I will continue to plug in with you and the county. And if there's anything anybody needs, let us know. Again, we're reaching out to you to let you know of the good things that we can provide during this turbulent time. And I also want to note that Alex is here, and from your organization, American Cross, we appreciate the things that you have done here today, and you're back again helping us. So county, city, thank you for letting us use these chambers and calling me on anything. And again, media, thank you, because you're getting the word out, and that's what we need. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative, and thank you for being with us pretty much along the entire journey that we've been on these past couple of weeks. So as a follow-up to the governor's briefing this afternoon, I want to update everybody on some of the additional changes we're doing at the city and our city operations. You are aware that we have made adjustments for the past 2 weeks, and so certain things have been closed, limited, curtailed. What we're doing today, based on the governor's noontime order, is further restricting groups of people into some of our facilities. And so even though the governor's order is effective tomorrow at midnight, beginning tomorrow at 8 a.m., the following city facilities will be closed. That includes our 6 city libraries that we have across the city. We're going to close those beginning tomorrow. We have 4 park and recreation community centers. Those will be closed beginning tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. The natatorium and Collier pools will be closed tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. We have an Oso Bay Preserve Center. It's a building that people can go into. The Oso Bay Preserve will be open, but the center, the physical building, will be closed so we can minimize congregating in there. Last week we closed our 5 senior centers, and we gave that a week at a time closure. We're going to close them continually now until April 3rd. Our senior centers will remain closed until April 3rd. However, meals are still being provided to our seniors. They can come pick up a meal through a drive-through system, and our Meals on Wheels program that serves over 700 seniors continues. And in fact, through the generosity and donations of places like HEB and the Lighthouse for the Blind, and just a regular person, Victor Betancourt, not only are we providing seniors food, but we're providing them toiletries, toilet paper, soaps, and those types of things. So we're grateful to the many community members out there through their own initiative have stepped up to the plate and are helping out those that need help. The city's municipal courtrooms, the judge is going to talk momentarily, and they have obviously the majority of the judicial system, but the city does have 3 municipal courtrooms. Those were closed as of Monday, and will continue to be closed. Persons they can conduct magistration via video conferencing. So these are things like speeding tickets and so on. We do want to assure customers some of the things that continue in full operation. That includes all of our utility services, so our water, wastewater is in full operation. There's no curtailment of any staff there. Same thing with our gas operations. Our garbage and recycling schedules stay the same. The drop-off center remains open. Those are under normal operations. Utility customers can still come into City Hall if they want to pay their bills in cash or by check. So we have a cashier section here at City Hall on the first floor, and that will remain open. However, customers have been able to in the past walk in and work with a staff person on bill payment options and other bill arrangements. Those will now, beginning tomorrow, only be done by telephone to minimize any type of exposure. City Hall itself will remain open, so our building will remain open. City Council will still have their meetings on Tuesday, although we may be making some adjustments to how they appear at the meeting. There may be telecommuting or so that there's less than 10 people or 10 or less in the chambers. But City Hall will be open. Our city executive team will be here, myself, the city manager, and other staff, but we're really limiting it to non-essential key staff in the building itself. Our public works and engineering departments, so our street resurfacing and preservation work, all our bond program projects still continue out there in the community. That's very important to keep those projects going. We are evaluating job sites to making sure that rule of 10 is adhered to, but our engineering and public works functions will continue. So things like traffic signals, signage. If customers still see something in the ground, potholes, we should still call the city, and we're going to take care of those. Our IT operations and cybersecurity is at an all-time high in terms of being mindful of it. Those are in full operations. All those staffs and departments will be in. Our city parks, the governor mentioned this at noon, that this is not a shelter in place, and we do encourage people to get out. Corpus Christi citizens love our parks. They're highly rated. So the actual outdoor facility, less the indoor building, the outdoor parks are open, and we encourage our residents to come out to the city parks if they want to. They are open. Our bay beaches are open, as well as our Gulf beaches are open. So Corpus Christi Gulf beaches remain open. We do continue to caution those that go there to follow the CDC guidelines, which is don't congregate in groups of more than 10, and be safe and distance yourself from the next person. Our downtown restaurants are making adjustments, and we are with them as well. So restaurants are open for takeout food or food to go. A restaurant that is near a parking space in the downtown area, we are working with restaurant owners to bag or to not have a parking space metered, and instead it's going to be a dedicated drop-off pickup location, I should say, for those that are getting food to go. And so in many of our restaurants downtown, you'll see a blocked-off spot where customers can park momentarily, get the food out of the restaurant, and then keep going. They won't have to walk great distances. And then also we want to assure the public that one of our number one functions in our city is public safety. Our police chief and fire chief are part of the team, part of our management team managing this critical operation. Our forces are in full effect. Staffing levels are at an all-time high because of our training academies and our staffing levels. And so our public safety is here, and we encourage our residents to feel safe and to use our numbers if they feel they need to contact our public safety personnel. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to County Judge Barbara Canales, who has been nothing but an excellent partner through all of this with the city, and we appreciate that. Judge Canales?
Thank you, Manager Zanoni and Mayor McComb, and I also want to express my appreciation for two county commissioners that joined me here behind the podium, and that's Commissioner John Modis and Commissioner Joe A. Gonzalez, affectionately known as JAG 24/7, and he has been 24/7 lately. We all have, and so we're so grateful for really the cooperation and the unified effort that you see here before you. Yesterday, we had an opportunity to go over some of the changes to the Nueces County Courthouse and associated services. And I think rather than go over the litany again, what I'd like to do is tell the public that as of this afternoon, you're going to be able to go online and really be able to navigate easily, because I'm going to test it because it's got to be easy for me. Otherwise, it's not good enough. So I'm going to make sure that it's easily navigated so that you can get an opportunity to see how services have changed. But let me also reiterate, just as Manager Zanoni did, that we are open for business to help the public. It's just a different way of doing business. Just this morning, I received an amazing email from our Veteran Service Director, JJ De La Cerda, who said although there won't be in-person interactions, he has a phone number and he will be making all of the same types of touches to help our veterans get through this crisis, including and not limited to helping them access food or any other type of need they might have. That gives me great pride as the county judge. But that doesn't just extend to veteran services. It extends to our social services, our animal care services, public works, inland parks, our libraries, and the list goes on and on. And so I think that I would like for the public to know that it's to please check the Nueces County website, nuecesco.com, and be able to see the litany of affected services. I think I've gotten and fielded the most questions about our jail, which we have curbed visitation for the safety of the people that are inside, both law enforcement and those detained. In addition, our court system has drastically changed, having no jury trials at minimum in criminal trials for 4 weeks for confined defendants and 8 weeks for non-confined. In addition, civil trials have also been canceled for the next 8 weeks. And all of this information you can find on nuecesco.com. But most importantly, the civil process of justice and the criminal process of justice continues. And you should feel good about that. Our judges are using the modern abilities of technology and video conferencing to continue to hear motions and hearings, depositions and discovery continue. And so rest assured, the state of Texas will protect at all costs and defend the rights and liberties of all parties affected. And so what I really want to conclude with is to say that I've been giving a lot of thought to this concept of sacrifice and the sacrifice that we are all making. And what I was taught is that with great sacrifice comes reward. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And so I'm going to ask all citizens of Nueces County from all areas of our geographical boundaries that what we are about to ask of you, what your country is looking for, is a sacrifice. And particularly I'd like to address a small message to not only my children, but all the children that are out there. And that is that for once, there's going to be a sacrifice not just by your parents, but by all of us. And so another great definition is that if the happiness that you give is for the sake, or actually give up, is for the sake of another, that also is a definition of sacrifice. So although it's so much fun to go to the beach, it's so much fun to congregate in big groups, I know, because all of my kids love to do it, particularly during this time, the most beautiful time of the year, spring, in the coastal bend. We have to make certain that we are following these guidelines. And I want to say that while I'm happy that our parks and our beaches can still be utilized, they can only be utilized if done properly. And we will enforce the rule of 10 because it is the safety of you and your family that we're looking to protect. And I'd like to also direct a special request that I have, and that is that once again, we call upon our first responders to help us enforce these rules. And I want you to consider that when it seems like maybe it's a good idea to, congregate just for maybe a little bit greater than 10 on the beach or in another area. Think about the first responders, because we don't want to place them in an unnecessary risk if we can help it. And so we are going to need your patience. We are going to need some sacrifice. But the reward is there for all of us if we do these things and we take these measures. That's my voice. That's okay. So with that, I'll conclude and say that the confirmed status for Nueces County is 0 confirmed coronavirus cases in Nueces County as of the time that it shows on that clock, 3:30 p.m. And so with that, I'll yield to Dr. Dante and the City County Health Department.
My name is Dr. Dante Gonzalez. I am the Assistant Director of Public Health. And today I am here to tell you 2 important things. First of all, I want to thank the public. Thank you very much for listening to us. Today's drive-through went very successful. We had very little people that were lingering around, if any. And it was very important for the people that needed to get tested and for the people that needed to get sampled that space maintained clear of any traffic or of any people that were lingering there. And I just want to thank the public for being able to do so and staying away from that site. It's very important that we, as public health, get these samples so that we can get it tested. As Judge Canales just said, we are still at 0 cases in Nueces County. That is a very important number. 0 means that our public has been doing what they're supposed to be doing. And we want to make sure that you continue doing the exact same thing that you have been doing. Isolate yourselves. Make sure that you're doing social distancing. Wash your hands. Ensure that your kids know that this is very important. Right now, it's very important to teach our little kids, our youth, and our elderly to just remind them they need to make sure that they're doing all the prevention, all the precaution, and that they know why it's important. Because it's not just COVID. Flu, the common cold, all of these viruses can be prevented if you just follow the same precautionary measures that we have been preaching for the past month and a half. The second thing is I want to make sure to let people know that we continue to screen people. We have a hotline that we continue to answer 24/7. People keep ringing us, we keep answering. We are testing the people that need to get tested. If you don't meet the criteria, we're ensuring that your physicians are able to do all the rest of the testing that needs to be done to ensure that you do not have COVID-19. And with that, I want to ensure the public that we continue to answer the phones. Please call if you have any signs and symptoms, and ensure that anybody and anywhere that you have traveled, that you continue to reach out to our website at www.cctexas.com/coronavirus. And again, thank you very much. We continue to be at 0. And just remind the public to continue doing what they're doing and to go that extra step. Make sure that now that kids are at home, that they're staying at home. If you need to go to the store to get groceries to the store, that you're ensuring that you're doing one person at a time to increase the social distancing, and make sure that we are not passing it from person to person. The phone number, the hotline is 361-826-7200. Again, if you have any signs and symptoms, if you're experiencing anything, we do have the personnel. We have trained personnel that are ready to answer the phone call. and make sure that you are getting screened, properly screened. And if you need the test, you are going to be tested and it's going to be sent to one of the labs. Thank you.
Just remembered one thing that I think is very important, and that is when the governor executed this executive order, and the mayor told you that we are going to join him in those orders, it applies to all of Nueces County. So whether you are in Port Aransas or whether you're in Banquete, Agua Dulce, Bishop or Driscoll, Robstown, it doesn't matter. All of these orders will apply to all of us inside Nueces County. And I really want to make sure, and we have already been making lots of good phone calls to all of our small cities and towns, whether it's their mayors, the superintendents. So when the governor says all Texas schools, we too mean all schools within our jurisdictional boundaries of Nueces County. And so for those of you that are listening that are on those outside, areas outside the urban center of Corpus Christi, just know that all of these orders are applicable to you as well. And again, it is going to be with a little patience that we get through all of this, but I am absolutely confident that we are a resilient people. That's who we are as Texans, and quite frankly, it's just flat in our DNA to be so. So I look forward to visiting with all of the western areas to make certain that they also understand that these orders are applicable to them as well. Thank you.
Well, that concludes the press conference. We will do this periodically, and to keep you up to date, we want to do that. Transparency is the name of the game. We appreciate all of the work that the community is doing, but we ask you again to stay vigilant. Again, on your shopping, be restrained, get what you need, don't hoard, think of others. And in the meantime, be safe, stay healthy, and look with a renewed look for Easter Sunday, because that gets you to the 2-week period or further. And hopefully by Easter Sunday, we will have passed this period in time, and we will have seen and achieved our goal. And so God is good, and we're through with our press conference. Thank you.